Hi, and welcome to the New Volunteer Induction for Crisis at Christmas 2019. My name's Stuart, and I'll be leading a shift at one of our centres this Christmas. First and foremost, I'd like to thank you for volunteering. Crisis at Christmas is a truly unique event. There is nothing on quite the scale of Crisis at Christmas in London. Your time contributing to it really matters. You're making a huge difference, not only to Crisis, but also to our guests, the people who come to us at Christmas time. We'd really like you to make the most of your experience. Have a good time, enjoy yourself, as well as helping our guests. Crisis is committed to ending homelessness, policy by policy, person by person. And this Christmas you will very much be a part of that as you work with our guests to ensure they really have the best possible Christmas. The very first Crisis at Christmas took place in 1971. It was on quite a small scale. It was in St Anne's Church in Westminster, and around 20 volunteers invited in several hundred homeless people to give them a good time over Christmas. We've done it every year since, and in the early days we used donated buildings, warehouses, office blocks, disused cinemas, even a bus garage one year. But in 2008 we made a big change to our model, and we started using schools and colleges, because this gave us the opportunity to return to the same building year after year. The centre I'll be in this year, for example, will be the 6th year that we've used the building, and they're much nicer places than an abandoned donated building. We have proper kitchens, we have showers, and we have warm, comfortable spaces that our guests can enjoy. This year we'll be running 17 centres in all around the country, but in London we'll have 7. 3 of these will be day centres, which are open access. Anybody can rock up at our doors, ask to come in, and provided they're prepared to abide by our few simple rules, they're welcome. And these day centres will be open to our guests from 9 in the morning until 9 at night. We'll also have 3 residential centres. Access to these will be by referral only, by caseworkers or from day centres, and they'll be open to guests 24 hours a day because we'll have sleeping accommodation there for them as well. And in addition to those, we'll have 2 hybrid centres. These are a combination of a day centre and a residential centre. So some of our guests will only be there from 9 till 9, and others will stay for the full 24 hours. We also have the sometimes forgotten operations centre, which is absolutely essential to the whole of Crisis at Christmas. It's our warehouse and our transport hub. It's where we store all of the logistics supplies we need for the event, and it's how we transport them out to the different centres around London. It's also the home of our call centre. All of our centres can call into a call centre for help with any problems they're having, and they'll organise whatever is needed. Our guests, the homeless people who come to us, in previous years we've enjoyed about 3,000 people coming to us. Usually they're mostly male. Last year about 80% of them were male, and about 31% of them were rough sleeping. It sometimes surprises volunteers that not all of our guests are rough sleepers, but we have a large number of people who come to us who are living in temporary accommodation of one sort or another. They might be in a squat, they might be in a B&B, they might be in a hostel. These are not really homes. These are just somewhere warm with a roof over your head, but they're not a place to live, a place to enjoy, and we can give our guests a really good Christmas wherever they're coming to us from. The average age of our guests is 47. The majority of them will be under 30, but we have had guests as old as 84. And it's quite frightening, I think, to imagine an 84-year-old having to survive on the streets. And as I say, 66% of our guests aged between 25 and 54. Why do our guests come to us? We run a survey every year. We ask our guests why they come and what they've most enjoyed about their time with us at Christmas. year after year, without fail, the number one reason they give is for companionship. Being a rough sleeper can be a very lonely experience, very little interaction with other people. And what few interactions they get tend to be transactional in nature. So dealing with somebody in a benefit office, dealing with somebody in a housing office. No chance to just sit down and have the kind of chat that you and I would take for granted with our friends and our family. We can offer that. We're a place of safety. Living on the streets is tremendously dangerous. You are far more likely to be the victim of violence if you're a rough sleeper. And sadly, the perpetrators of that violence are very often members of the general public who think it's really funny to beat up a homeless person, to set fire to the bedding, the kinds of things we see in the papers. We offer a place of safety where our guests can relax and not worry that those kinds of things are going to happen to them. We offer food, 3 good meals a day. It's not Michelin starred, it's probably not going to win any awards, but it's good, nourishing food, which again is something our guests very rarely get to enjoy. A guest has commented to me in the past, what I really like about Crisis is I get some hot food. It's great that people come round with sandwiches and things like that, but eating cold food all the time is really dispiriting. So to be able to come in, sit down to a cooked breakfast, a cooked lunch, a cooked dinner is tremendous. We give our guests access to medical services. We have fantastic volunteer doctors, dentists, chiropodists, physiotherapists who provide their services to our guests at Christmas time. And for many of them, this is the only chance they get during the year to access medical services. Often they have to wait till their condition is so bad that they have to go to A&E. We offer them opportunities. We have housing advice, we have educational opportunities, and we have other general advice available to them. Again, something that they may find hard to access during the year. And we have our feel-good services, a whole host of services which are just about having a good time and feeling better, because it is, after all, Christmas. It's somewhere to feel valued because we're not judgmental at Crisis. If you're a guest here, we're there to make sure you have absolutely the best time you can, and we're not going to judge you because of your situation, because of your background. And above all, it's Christmas. It's about having fun. It's about having a good time. We'll have a number of services available at our centres. All of them will have food, as I've already mentioned. We'll have a luggage store, which is tremendously helpful for our guests. If you can imagine somebody who lives on their streets carrying all of their luggage around with them all of the time. In our luggage store, they can leave it safely, know nobody's going to steal it, and they can relax and enjoy everything that's on offer. We have transport, so if we need to take a guest perhaps to a dentist, we can take them there. We can move them to another centre if it's more appropriate for them. We have emergency clothing available, so that if they do need something, then we can help them with that. Be that a warm coat, a pair of boots, gloves, whatever they may need. I've already mentioned our advice service, where they can get advice on all kinds of things, not just housing, but benefits as well, or indeed any other kind of problem that they're having to deal with. And we have a huge number of activities available. Our arts and crafts areas are always fantastically popular with our guests, a chance to relax, sit down and do something creative. But we have basic classes in numeracy, introductions to IT, we have a full IT cafe in all of our centres, and so access to things they wouldn't normally have. We have our fabulous sewing service, which can repair any valued item of clothing that a guest may have, and can even repair, for example, a broken rucksack. And we have hairdressing, an opportunity to get your hair cut, something that you may not get all year round. And along with getting your hair cut, that little bit of pampering, which we all enjoy when we go to the hairdressers, to make you feel special, to make you feel like a human being again. We'll have another number of other services which will visit the centres, or we'll take the guests to them. So we have our healthcare, which I've already mentioned. You can see there the kind of healthcare professionals that are available. We have a massage service. This sometimes surprises people, but if you can imagine being in the cold all the time, if you can imagine sleeping on hard surfaces all the time, body becomes very stiff, very tense. This is a wonderful way to ease all those tensions and again to make people feel human again. I have a particular memory of a guest who went to the massage service many years ago when I was a new volunteer, and when he came out he was visibly walking taller, he was visibly a different person, and he said to me, "That's the first time somebody has touched me kindly in 6 years," which is a very, very sobering thought. We have a natural healing service as well, and many of our guests find that tremendously beneficial. Many different kinds of natural healing therapies available. We have entertainment. We have everything from choirs to brass bands to rock groups. We have bingo, a whole cavalcade of different kinds of entertainers who come into our centres to give our guests an enjoyable time. And at one of our centres we have a dog service. Many homeless people have a dog, their only companion on the street very often. We can't take dogs into all of our buildings, but we do have one where guests with dogs are welcome, and we have a separate kennel area. We work with the Mayhew Trust, who come in and give the dogs every bit as good a time as we give the guests. They give them a medical check, they make sure they're well fed, well looked after. And we also invite in a number of external agencies to provide services at Christmas. So you'll find that the Samaritans are on site, not just for our guests, but they're available for our volunteers as well, because occasionally you may hear something or see something that you find slightly harrowing or distressing. So the Samaritans are there for you as well as for our guests. We work in partnership with the NHS with their mobile TB and hepatitis C screening service, and they bring their screening van round to all of our centres during the course of the Christmas week. And this gives our guests an opportunity to get a very quick and simple checkup for both of those things. We work with Turning Point, which is an agency that works with people who have addiction issues. And we also work with AACA and NA as well. And to give you some idea of the scale of our services, in 2017, 1,073 guests slept in our residential services. We delivered almost 32,000 meals. And I won't take you through those statistics line by line. You can see them there. Draw your attention to the very last one, which is our inter-centre football competition. This is hugely popular with our guests. Every centre puts forward a team, and usually hosted by Arsenal Football Club at their community hub. Guests enjoy participating, and guests back at the centre keenly await the result. The Champions League has absolutely nothing on this competition, and whichever centre wins it has the bragging rights for the rest of the year, not just amongst the guests but amongst the volunteers as well. So I've been able to tell you just a little bit about what we do for our guests at Christmas. Thank you for taking the time to watch this. There are some more videos you can enjoy which will tell you a little bit more about Crisis at Christmas. Thank you again for your time and attention. Have a great time with us at Christmas. I know you will.